All right, hello, you lovely people. It's been a long time since I've done one of these Ask the Drinkers streams, and I thought, what the hell? I've got a bit of time this evening, so I will give up an hour or so and see if I can answer some questions from people. So, well, I'll do my best to keep you entertained on my lonesome this evening. How the hell is everyone doing? The collector says it's time for the message. It's always time for the message. What have we got? LK Design, Tom Barry, Respecter, Frank, Juxenhausen. Hey man, welcome back. What's next one? Samuel Haupt, Sly Jester, Scrowro, Maggie M. It's too quick. It's going past too fast for me to keep up with. Anyway, I hope you guys are all having a lovely day so far. I haven't had a lovely day because I went and saw the Expend4bles 4. Or maybe I'm supposed to call it the Expend4bles. I don't know how you're meant to say it, but either way, my God, that was a terrible movie. I don't think I'll even have time really to talk about it on Open Bar this week because probably no one else will have seen it. But I thought I'd give my high-level take on it. It sucks. It really feels tired and played out and lazy, and the script is absolute garbage. Like, doesn't make a lick of sense, and nobody involved in it even looks like they can be bothered. Like, nobody really seems like they want to be there. Stallone's barely in it. I guess I should get that out of the way first. Yeah, I mean, I'll start by saying as well, I kind of like the Expend4bles movies. I thought the first one was good fun. The second one was pretty good too. The first two, I would say, were all right. Like, they make the most of their premise of reuniting all these 1980s action stars, and it's cool to see them. Third one, it kind of went off the rails, and that seemed like it was going to be the end, but no, they came back like 10 years later with this next one, and by God, they shouldn't have. I don't fully understand what went on behind the scenes with this one, but from what I know, Stallone was barely going to be involved in it, and I think his character was just going to get killed off. And then they managed to get him back in a reduced capacity. And so what you've got is this weird script where you can tell stuff was added in later. Like, there's a whole subplot at the beginning that's needed to set up his return at the end, and it feels so fucking tacked on, man. Yeah. So it basically begins with him and Jason Statham reuniting, going to a bar, getting back a ring that he lost in a thumb wrestling contest, and beating up a bunch of people in the process. It feels like it was all slapped together in the space of about 10 minutes. Like, the dialogue is terrible. It makes no sense. But it's all just to set up what happens later. But anyway, they get recruited by the CIA. Andy Garcia, I think, is leading them. And it's always the CIA. They've got to go into the Libya because these guys have, like, taken over a bioweapons facility or a chemical weapons facility. It's something to do with weapons. And for some reason, they're also storing nuclear detonators there. So, yeah, sure, okay. And it's so clunkily edited. Like, there's a big firefight. The bad guys break into this facility. Then it jumps over to, like, Barney and Christmas. Like, Stallone and Statham. They have their stupid little adventure to get the ring back. Then they get sent out to go stop these terrorist guys who are still in the midst of fighting their way into this facility. Like, literally, these guys get recruited, brought in, briefed, flown out to Libya all the way from America while this fight is still going on. And they're not able to stop them. And Stallone, like, gets shot down and his plane crashes, and it looks like he's burned to death. And it's the most shitty death scene as well, because the plane crashes and Statham runs over to it, and it's just like this horrible burned corpse, like, sitting in this stupid position in the cockpit with his ring, this distinctive ring on his finger. So they think, oh no, Barney's dead, and we're all sad. So anyway, then the remaining Expendables, Statham basically gets cut from the team, and the remaining ones, and there's not many left by this point, by the way. Most of the big name actors have left this franchise. All we've got is Dolph Lundgren, And shit, man, you can tell this guy's not well. You know, I from what I understand, he's dying of cancer. He doesn't do any significant movement throughout the entire thing. He just lies down and snipes at things most of the time. So it's like, you know, the minimum stuff that he can do. Randy Couture is there still because, oh shit, what's his name? Oh, the big dude who, yeah, Terry Crews, who used to be a big part of it. He's gone, and 50 Cent is replacing him. Not a great upgrade because 50 Cent can't act for shit in this movie. He looks bored. But anyway, these guys are all sent in to track down the nuclear detonators and stop the bad guys, and they're led by Megan Fox for some reason. Yeah, speaking of people who can't act, my God, like, I mean, Megan Fox was never exactly an Oscar winner at the best of times, but you know, at least in her earlier roles, she tried. Bless her. You know, she tried a little bit. Here, she just zero fucks given. She knows this is a fucking B-grade hamburger movie, and she's vowed to bring that across in her performance. Yeah. So they all go into this ship where like the nuclear detonators have been kept, and they've been united with nuclear fuel to make a bomb. But they get betrayed, and they all get captured immediately without even putting up a fight. And so then it's up to Statham to come back and rescue them, and shenanigans ensue. And the remaining like 30 minutes of the movie is just a big, well, should I say, a series of pretty weak action sequences. You can tell they scrimped on the budget on this one. This is a cheap film. There's a lot of CGI explosions, very little practical effects. Yeah, it is weak sauce. And you know, the thing is, right, it seems like the intent here was to try and pass the torch on to Statham, which is fair enough. Like, he's a pretty charismatic guy and he can carry a movie. We know he can, but you wouldn't think so from this film. Again, like everyone else, he just kind of looks bored and unhappy. He phones in his performance. The dialogue that he's given is terrible anyway. He has zero chemistry with Megan Fox because they're supposed to be lovers. Yeah, and Barney shows up at the last minute to rescue him because he faked his own death. Because this was all about like black op that he was involved in 25 years ago that got classified, and it was going to stay locked down forever until everyone involved in it had died. That's why he faked his death. And that's why the ring thing was so important. They had to set that up. That's the movie. Yeah, it sucks. It's a movie that's completely outlived its premise. You know, the whole draw of the first couple was just seeing all these great action stars from a different era like coming together in a movie and still kind of kicking ass, like being able to do some pretty cool stuff. Most of them can't really do anything anymore. Stallone barely does a single thing in the entire film. You know, Statham even he can still hold his own in a fight, but even he doesn't look very invested in it, and the rest barely get anything to do. Like I say, Lundgren lies down or sits down in basically every scene because he's not well now. Megan Fox does fuck all. She's just there to look pretty for the most part, and she can't even be bothered doing that by the looks of things. And yeah, Randy Couture doesn't even really get to do anything at all. He gets shot pretty early on in the final action sequence, and that's him out of the game. So what a sad end to the Expend4bles franchise. Like, I don't want them to make any more if this is the level that they're going to be producing them at. This is so cheap and so lame and so shit. Yeah, not a great day out at the cinema, I'm afraid. Let me just answer a couple of super chats here. Marty Gray says, "Hey Drinker, met you at the meetup. I was the Geordie that showed you some texts from a nutty Scots lady. You and everyone there were class acts." Thank you very much, man. The meetup in London was fantastic. It was great fun. Got to meet so many people, got to share a pint with a lot of people, and it was just it was good stuff, man. So thank you. Bloombius says, "Would you read One Piece? Easier than watching it." Crikey, I think there's about 10,000 issues of that, so I don't know if I could read all of that, man. It would take me about a decade. Wayland Pacificus says, drink a wild turkey and watching the drinker. Winning. You are, sir. You're winning at life. So nice one. Mercurial Funk says, are you going to watch The Creator? I'm hearing good things about it. Yes, I'm going to go see it on Friday, in fact. So I'm looking forward to that. The trailers make it look good. Kevin O'Neill said, how about a difficult FMK to start things off? Oh, shit. Selma Hayek in Dusk from Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn, sorry. Jennifer Connelly in The Rocketeer and Elizabeth Hurley in Bedazzled. Tip, you're allowed to use your D for the K. Okay. I like your thinking, sir. So, FMK, I would... man, see, Selma Hayek and Jennifer Connelly, they've both got staying power, and they were absolutely hot in their prime. So, I think marry Salma Hayek because she is top tier. I'll go F for Jennifer Connelly and reluctantly K, Elizabeth Hurley. I mean, they are all top tier, and that is a tough call to make. But yeah, I think you're going to be happy either way, I would say. So that's fine by me. Scarrow85 says, how do you rate Universal Soldier? I like it. Right, I'm one of those crazy guys that I really enjoyed it back in the day. I remember watching it with my friends at one of their birthday parties, and it's just a fun movie. I can't believe it was Roland Emmerich that made it. Like, you always associate him with disaster movies and stuff, but this is just like a sort of sci-fi action thriller. I think it was probably the pinnacle of Van Damme's career in terms of like box office success. I thought Dolph Lundgren was really good in it. Yeah, and I like the concept. It was a good, fun movie. Totally over the top. I mean, seeing a guy getting killed by being fed into a combine harvester is... that's a hell of a death scene, man. Their final fight goes on for about 20 minutes. It's amazing. Yeah, someone's saying, I need to cool down. Universal Soldier is good, but it's not Time Cop. That is true, yeah. To this day, I'm still baffled by how the villain in that got killed. You know, same matter can't occupy the same space, so I'm just going to push him into a past version of himself and they sort of merge together. Don't understand how that worked, but yeah, the visual effects people got to mess around, so all good, I suppose. Yeah, next one is from Chucksenhausen. Hey, how's it going, man? One of two says, such a shame that Stallone was barely in it. Yeah, although in retrospect, he's probably happy that he was barely in it because, yeah, it's a turkey of a film. And he says, at least he was great in Tulsa King. Yeah, he was. Yeah, it surprised me that he even bothered to be in this movie when it was so cheap. You know, he doesn't need the money, obviously, at this point in his career. And, you know, he's doing pretty good TV shows like Tulsa King. So just a strange one. Stephen Blair says, thanks for the hello and selfie at the meetup. No problem at all, my friend. It was my pleasure. Anthony Pook says, Captain Decide, which Star Trek show is your favorite and why? I have found that mine, DS9, often gets overlooked. Also, it's Pook, like Dutch. Oh, I'm sorry. Putch. There you go. Anthony Putch. I'll get that right in future. Star Trek show that's my favorite, it's probably going to be TNG. I got to be honest. Yeah, I know it's a total normie choice, but when I think about just the sheer range of episodes, the absolute highs that it got to, the cast, I absolutely love the cast of characters, and just the whole premise of it. Like, it really took the original series and just moved it forward, you know, gave them like more, you know, more opportunities to do more interesting stuff, I guess. They obviously had the benefit of better technology, better visual effects, and towards the end, like the last couple of seasons, genuinely look great. There's some awesome episodes where you think, damn, like this stuff actually holds up pretty well. The budgets were obviously getting pretty big by that point. So yeah, so someone says, except Will Wheaton. Sorry, I've got to pick the wrong one there. Yeah, someone mentioned, like, except Will Wheaton, fuck that guy. Yeah, he was annoying as fuck in the show, and well, it's mirrored in real life, I suppose. So. Yeah, man. Wesley Crusher was not the high point, which I think they realized pretty quickly that the character was not a winner, so they wrote him out fairly quickly. Let me do a couple more, and then I was going to go on to the next thing that I was going to talk about. Slip McCartney says, are there any more happy hours planned? Any Michael Caine film would be awesome. Well, yes, I'm going to be doing a bunch of happy hours, Halloween themed, obviously, in October. So the first one that I do is going to be on Monday the 2nd, and that's with the Outcast Creative, who's actually helps out with modding on my channel. He's super connected in like the film industry. He's been in it like for about 20 years at this point. Knows all the behind the scenes of pretty much every film ever. So we're going to be talking about The Thing, because what a perfect way to kick off the Halloween season. The Thing is awesome. So yeah, that's going to be our happy hour on Monday the 2nd. So looking forward to that. Next one was from Larry Escher, who says, writer strike in a nutshell. Studios wanted to use ChatGPT to write their scripts. Writers wanted studios to pay them more so they can use ChatGPT to write their scripts. It's going to happen. Yeah, I think so. I mean, ultimately, AI, I guess, is coming no matter what you do. They might have bought some kind of temporary reprieve with this. I was just going to talk about this a little bit, so I might as well leap into it now. Yeah, it seems like the writer's strike is over. They've reached a tentative agreement. The rank and file members of the union still have to vote on it. I think you can guarantee that they're going to agree with the terms, and probably they'll be back to churning out shite by this time next week. So, yay! Yeah, and they got a lot of the demands that they wanted, like guarantees around AI. I think better residuals for shows and stuff in terms of repeat viewings. And I think the big thing that they were gunning for was minimum staffing levels in writers' rooms for TV shows, which is fucking baffling to me. The idea that we want more people in the writers' room throwing around more ideas and resulting in a more incohesive product is just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. I would rather have fewer people, but actual good ones. Now it's just, giving jobs to people for the sake of giving them something to do. Yeah, don't really approve of that. I don't really see the value of it, especially when you see what they've been producing of late. But hey, man, it makes for good review fodder, I suppose. So there's something to it, but I can't see how this is going to benefit the end product that they are putting out. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, man, for the time being, I guess they have won. So good on them, I guess. The real problem though is like the actors are still on strike, and they could be for some time yet because they've got a whole separate list of demands. They kind of overlap in places with what the WGA were wanting. But they want much better pay increases and so on. And I don't think the studios are willing to come to that level. So, potentially the actors could be on strike for months. Yeah, we don't know how long this is going to go for. I don't think there's even been any talks scheduled. The last time they spoke to each other was about a month ago, the producers and the actors. So wait and see what happens there. So it's not like TV and film production is just going to restart overnight. It could be a while yet. It just depends how long the actors are going to hold out. There's obviously going to be a pressure on them to reach a deal now that the writers have. But yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see what comes out of that. Like I say, it's not like we're desperate to see them come back or anything, although it will be entertaining to hear all the red carpet talk again. Yeah, some people are saying that the Film Actors Guild won't be coming to the table anytime soon. I mean, they haven't been on strike as long as the writers. Like, I think there was about 2 months before they went on strike. So they perhaps aren't feeling the pinch quite as much as the writers were. But ultimately, they're gonna have to reach an agreement at some point. I guess it's quite a question of who bends first, the studios or the actors, who runs out of money first. But yeah, it could be a while before things get back to normal because they're going to have a backlog of productions that were shelved or paused while all this was going on. They're going to have to restart before they can then move on to new things. So this is going to cause a lot of disruption for quite some time. What's the next one? Yeah, I wanted the strike to last forever, not going to lie. It was kind of funny while it lasted, really. I just love how it was going on for months on end and we basically didn't notice a single thing. It's like late night talk shows are off the air. Oh no, what a loss to humanity. How will we survive? Fuck's sake. What's the next one? Kenneth Bruganon. Bruganon? I think that's it. Nothing will ever top the Terry Crews AA-12 scene from the first movie. The theater was cheering and filled with laughs. Yeah, man, that was like an automatic shotgun. And I've never seen anything quite as devastating on screen. It was a bit like that bit in Saving Private Ryan when the flak gun just gets used as like an infantry weapon. It's like blasting people apart on a tank. Like every time you hit someone with it, they just turn into red mist. It was incredible to watch. Yeah, it was a cool bit from that movie. It really was. RRTNZ says, Hail! First, very glad to hear that you're doing happy hours again because of all your work. I enjoy your analysis of what makes good films good the most. Thank you. And yeah, man, it's something that I've kind of neglected for quite some time now. And this just feels like a good opportunity to restart it, you know, focus a bit on horror movies over October, and then, you know, see where we're at going forwards. It's just, I guess, you know, the open bar streams there on a Thursday, and Mauler and I have to do a catch up for all the super chats on the Sunday. So that's 2 days out of the, you know, out already. You know, I have to work on video production for my main channel and my second channel for like both like series of reviews and stuff that I'm doing. And so when you factor all that in, it just doesn't leave a whole lot of time for doing other streams. Plus, like I have to try and fit in like guest appearances on other people's live streams because, you know, I've got a few commitments there. But yeah, I do enjoy the happy hours, and it's been a while since I've done them, so I want to get back into it. Play the High Note says, are you excited for the Tomb Raider remasters and what will be censored from the remasters? Oh god, the mind boggles. You know, I'm sure they're very problematic by today's standards. The thing is, I actually recently bought, I think it was for the PlayStation 3, because I still play that occasionally. There's like a trilogy of trilogy of games that they did. So it was like Tomb Raider Legend, Tomb Raider Anniversary, and Tomb Raider something else, which I haven't played yet. And so you got 3 games in one, and those were like HD complete rebuilds of like the first game, and then following on from that. And they're great. Like they really capture the spirit of those early Tomb Raider games, just with much better graphics. So yeah, man. I mean, we'll always have the originals. We always get to remember when Lara Croft was cool and sensual and feminine and confident and sassy, and didn't take herself so fucking seriously all the time, and actually just encouraged you to go on an adventure with her. Yeah, there's certainly plenty of adventures I'd like to go to with her, but they'd mostly involve the bedroom. But anyway, it was that kind of character. It just made the whole thing fun. And, as much as they tried to turn her into a wet blanket now with the current iteration, they can't erase the original games that actually built the whole series. So, yeah, we'll always have that at least. Yeah. Poor tour, yeah. I just love how they were just so unapologetically, they weren't afraid to make her attractive. It feels like that's practically outlawed in video games now. But back then, I guess partly because they had graphical limitations, it's like we've got to exaggerate the feminine contours to make this character work. And they just said, fuck it. We're just going to give her like a little waspish waist, long legs, big boobs. Perfect. Funnily enough, a lot of young guys appreciated that. That turned a lot of boys into men, that game. And I was one of them because that came along at a very special time. I think I was like 12 or 13 when I played Tomb Raider for the first time. I never looked back. Just give me 1 second while I catch up with these super chats because they're piling up here. All right. Oh, yeah, here we go. So, Claudio Rogajan says, saw Mask of Zorro last night in the theater. Great film. It is absolutely classic. Really good fun. Anthony Hopkins and Antonio Banderas, both awesome in it. And yeah, it's just a great fun movie. Really like it. We reviewed it for EFAP Movies, and I'm not even sure if that one's been released yet, but it is there somewhere. What's this? Lara Croft made the drinker's voice change. Lara Croft turned me into an alcoholic. That's how much of an effect she had. What's this? Does this mean no open bar tonight, or is this just a pre-stream? No, this is Tuesday, so I don't do open bar on a Tuesday. It's the Thursday that we do that. So yeah, don't worry. This is just a little side thing that I'm doing tonight because I haven't done it for a while. There we go. Look. Hello, lad. This is one of the first streams that I've caught from you. Well, there you go. You see, you never know when the drinker is going to suddenly show up. Yeah, as people are pointing, it's Tuesday, bro. How much have you been drinking? More than me, apparently. Yeah, this is what happens when all your viewers are alcoholics. I mean, yeah, what can you say? You know, it's just what happens. Oh yeah, I forgot to say as well. I'm going to be talking about Ahsoka tomorrow night on Mr. Brown Alliance's channel. So that'll probably be about 10 p.m. UK time. So that'll be 5 p.m. Eastern. I'll put a message out on Twitter or something when I'm about to jump in. But yeah, join us there because we're going to have great fun talking about Ahsoka. I'm sure it's going to be glorious. Yeah, definitely going to save Star Wars. Dave Filoni, you're a savior. Let me answer a couple more of these. Rob Allen says, part of me died during the third one. I can't sacrifice any more on the fourth. Yeah, I don't blame you. The third one was pretty weak. First two were really good. Probably could have left it there. Probably should have, really. Red Muskrat says, I waited a year for Halloween to start bothering you again. Will you please review High Tension this spooky season? Well, if you ask me to, then I'll see what I can do. Blue Collar Loser says, Drinker, I reviewed 4. Didn't hate it, but my issue was Statham does 98% of the action. True. Started doing live watches on Tuesdays. Today is Little China. Excellent choice, my friend. That's a good one. And yeah, there's another actor. I don't know what his name is, but he's like, he's an Eastern actor. He does a lot of martial arts sequences in the movie. He's like a former special forces guy who's trying to give it up for a life of peace, but he agrees to escort Statham out to the ship where all the action is going to take place and supposedly bails out, but then he comes in at the 11th hour to help him out. And he's awesome. Like, he can fight properly well, really fast, really tightly choreographed. His fights are great. It's just, he's not in it all that much, and nobody else can really do anything at this point. They're either too old or they've just got fucking no skill whatsoever. I love that Andy Garcia as well, like, goes on board. This guy is like 65 years old and looks like he's never held a gun in his entire life. TC says, how many Patreon messages do you get a day? Lots, because I usually check in every couple of weeks and just answer them all in like a big block, basically, because it's like, rather than try and do it every day, it would just be not feasible. And yeah, quite often there's like more than 99 waiting for me because the counter only goes up to 99. So yeah, there's more than that usually waiting for me when I do. And I feel bad because sometimes people have to wait a couple of weeks to get a response from me, but I do always get through all of them. It's just, yeah, when you've got a few thousand Patreon supporters there, you're going to get a lot of messages from them. But yeah, I try to answer them all. Casey Boyd says, Drinker, you've got to walk back your Inglorious Bastards comments a few weeks back about not liking the opening scene and the bar scene. You were probably hungover, so we forgive you. Yeah, I've rethought that one because I actually rewatched Inglorious Bastards just not last week, but it was the week before last. Yeah, and I will, in fact, retract my comment about the opening dialogue scene. That was fantastic. When I rewatched it now, I think particularly taking into account Christoph Waltz's his performance and just the slowly building tension, the way he slowly changes from like polite, courteous, upbeat and chipper, and just slowly gets more sinister and serious, and just utterly breaks the guy's will that he's talking to. Yeah, it is a really good scene, and I don't quite know what I was thinking. I think I might have been kind of drunk when I was saying that to Mahler. It was probably just building off a larger point, I guess, I was making about Tarantino movies. Perhaps some of the later ones becoming maybe a tad self-indulgent. I guess that's what I was going for. I don't think I picked a good example with Inglourious Bastards, but yeah, this understanding of dialogue, which is great, but you can sometimes use and abuse it too much. And I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's perhaps an example of that, where it was so long and so, yeah, verging on self-indulgent, I guess we might say. But I mean, maybe he's even aware of this himself, because he's pretty much said this next movie he does will be his last film. He's just done, you know, in which case I respect that. Man knows when to get out. Next one was Giant Squid, who says, do you plan to attend LA Comic-Con this year? I don't know. That's December? Is that December? I know I was chatting with Chris Gore about this, and he can potentially organize something for us to go out there. If people are up for doing it, maybe I would go. Obviously, to get from the UK to LA is a hell of a long flight, put it that way. It might be possible, but watch this space, I suppose. I will not rule it out right now. Eaton Tyfe says, why do you think certain Star Wars fans will just accept anything that Disney shouts out and do the mental gymnastics to justify such clear nonsense and breaking of canon? I think because it's like the Stockholm syndrome. I think they've become dependent on their captors. In this case, they are so desperate to like Star Wars again, to put all this horror behind them of watching the franchise get destroyed, that they'll basically accept anything that's just slightly above that. And so what you've got with Ahsoka is a show that superficially seems to be slightly better. It looks a bit better. It's got some good actors in it, even though you wouldn't fucking know it from their performances. And it's just, they're always looking for this show that's going to save Star Wars. It's not going to. Like, it's going to take a lot more than just one show. Like, Andor was a good show, but no one fucking cared because no one watched it. That didn't save Star Wars. Ahsoka is not going to save Star Wars. And yeah, maybe it's just this human desire to get back to loving the thing that you used to enjoy so much. Because if it is, you know, if you're deeply invested in Star Wars, you're not going to want to hate it. You're not going to want to acknowledge that it's terrible now and it makes you miserable. You're going to try and make the best of it, I suppose, and maybe that's just human nature. But I don't think it's productive because, yeah, you don't want to be hating everything irrationally either. But if you just accept any crap that's made, they're not going to try anything better. They're not going to try harder. They're not going to raise their game, and so it doesn't seem like a wise move to just praise everything they put out. It's almost like toxic positivity. You know, it's just as damaging to the franchise because you're just pretending that things are good. You're pretending that you like things that you don't. And I think ultimately it'll just drive you a bit nuts. But yeah, it's an interesting conundrum, I suppose. Did I like Ahsoka? No, I haven't enjoyed it much. No, there's a lot of key jangling. I feel like it's a lot of Dave Filoni kind of sucking his own dick. We get it, Dave. You know, you did Rebels, you did a lot of the Clone Wars. You want to just bring all those characters back and just have fun with them, and that's great. You know, a cynical man might say it's your own personal vanity project, but hey, who am I to judge? But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty shit. The storylines don't make much sense. It's slow as fuck. None of the actors seem to care. You know, even when you've got talented people on board, when you give them nothing to work with, you're going to get a crappy product. Like, I don't care one bit about Ahsoka. I don't care when her life was in danger because Rosario Dawson and the writers don't give me a reason to care about her. I don't care about Sabine Wren. I don't care about Hera because they all just come across as flat, emotionless blocks of wood. And weirdly, I feel like I did kind of like them in Rebels. Like, I watched a little bit of it when it first came out, and I thought, you know, these characters are kind of okay. I like them. Not now. They just don't have anything about them. And that, I guess, was a conscious choice, I'm assuming. It wasn't a good one, though. The other thing I was going to talk about just before I do more super chats was there's these weird rumors going around, and I'm 99% sure it's bullshit, but there's a lot of, like, you know, channels and news sites picking up on it that Rachel Zegler has been fired from Snow White due to the backlash around her, and I don't think it's the case, but quite a few sites are reporting on it, and it just seems to be like a little rumor that's floating around. I'll just read a little bit. This is from Snopes. What have we got here? Yeah, so Inside the Magic, I think, initially reported that the story cites an insider at Disney, apparently, as its evidence for the alleged firing of Rachel Zegler due to backlash against her previous comments regarding Snow White. Right. So, in other words, while it is entirely possible that Zegler or another actor in the upcoming live-action Snow White film could be replaced in the future, we have yet to find any demonstrable evidence to support this rumor. So it is entirely a rumor at the moment. Now, yeah, like I say, I'm 99% sure that it's not going to happen because they have filmed like pretty much all of her scenes. The movie's in like post-production at this point, I'm sure. So to recast now would be disastrous. Like you would be better off just canning the entire movie. And honestly, I think that's probably what I would do if I was Disney. There's so much negativity around this film. I would just take the tax write down and just cancel it. It's not worth your time. But yeah, if somehow this actually happens, it would be absolutely hilarious. I think man, she would probably be best advised to cancel, like to deactivate her Twitter account if that was to happen, because man, the abuse she would take. Yeah, it's just I can't see it happening, but it's one of those weird rumors that seems to have like gathered a bit of steam over the past day or so, and people are talking about it. So I just thought it was an interesting one to contemplate. Yeah, like as you're saying here, they would not fire someone like her. She's too diverse. Yeah, as you're saying, Paul Anderson, how many times have articles about Kathleen Kennedy made the rounds? Yeah. How many times has Kathleen Kennedy apparently been fired or just about to be ousted from Lucasfilm? Rumors are part of the game when it comes to the entertainment industry and especially YouTube. So I'm always kind of I never make videos about rumors as much as possible because it's a dangerous thing to deal in. But it's one of those things that I just thought I'd mention here offhand because it did tickle me a little bit. Yeah, the Batgirl thing. Yeah, that's going to go down in history. That's become a term now almost for people. It's like a movie that gets cancelled because you know it's going to be bad. You Batgirled it. You Batgirled that film. And the weird thing is, I think Batgirl probably would have been better than something like The Flash or Blue Beetle. Like I feel like it was going down a different path. Like I got a chance to speak to the guys working on it, and I know a little bit about what they were doing. It was not a typical superhero film with loads of CGI and generic battle scenes and stuff like that. It was much more grounded and gritty. Not going to say that it was going to be good, but it would have been at least something a bit more interesting, I suppose. But I guess we're never gonna find out. Next one is Gunstar1 says, Chapter Master Valrak says there's a rumor going around that Cavill is going to play Gregor Eisenhorn in the Amazon 40K series. I know it's just a rumor, but what are your thoughts? That would be a cool one. I mean, personally, I want to see him play the Emperor of Mankind. I think he's got the build for it. But yeah, that's probably a good choice because I think if you're getting into the realms of like the Astartes and stuff, like I don't even know how you would represent them with human actors. It's more like you might need CGI people for that because they're about the size of the fucking engineers from Prometheus. You know, that's the kind of scale you're dealing with here, and you're not going to get normal people to be able to play roles like that. Yeah, a skeleton on the throne. No, I would have him during the Horus Heresy before he went on the Golden Throne. Yeah, proper badass emperor. That'd be cool. What's the next one? Yeah, Cavill should be James Bond. But yeah, they won't cast him because that would be too obvious. You know, why do something that pretty much everyone wants? There was RRTNZ says, question, why aren't you doing more to support the Scottish rugby team in the World Cup? Fucking Gerard Butler is out there promoting them. It's a far more manly game than football. Come on, son. It is indeed. It's like American football, except we don't wear like 10 layers of armor to play rugby. Yeah, it's a sport for men with odd shaped balls. I mean, yeah, like what can I do? Like I can't get on the field and play with them. You know, they'd probably taser me and escort me off. So yeah, best of luck to the Scottish rugby team. I hope they do well. They tend to do a lot better than the football team does, at least. So that's something. At least I don't get my hopes crushed quite as quickly. Sins Corner says, I've been trying to reach you via email regarding Dungeon Crawler Carl Sound Booth Theatre. Let me know if you want me to stop pestering you. Are you sure you're sending your emails to the right address then? Because I've not received anything from you. Because I have in the past, and I think that's how we set the whole Dungeon Crawler Carl thing up. But yeah, if you want to do something, it's just like, well, the email is just like thecriticaldrinker@hotmail.com. And I picked Hotmail because it's old-fashioned and people don't guess it very often. But yeah, like that's the best way to reach me. Try again. Like if you're trying to set up another project or something like that, then let me know. Because I enjoyed doing Dungeon Crawler Carl. It was good fun. Anthony Potch. There, I got it right this time. Would you rather F Brie Larson if she agrees not to talk, or marry Scarlett Johansson but you could only kiss? Fuck. Just kiss, eh? You son of a bitch. That's not an easy one. I think it would be too frustrating to be with Scarlett Johansson if I could only kiss. So reluctantly, I'd have to marry Brie Larson, I think. Yeah. If she couldn't talk as well, that could be a bonus. So yeah, that would probably be the way forward. But damn, man, that is a tough choice. You really put me up against it there. Yeah, I think that's the way I'm gonna have to go, man. Ranger of the West says, howdy from Texas, drinker. Did you see Last Voyage of the Demeter? If so, what did you think? Also, any beer recommendations? I've still to see it. I think it's a good one to watch for Halloween, so it's probably right around the right time to watch it, and then I can review it as well. Yeah. The drinker could fix her. The drinker fixes Brie Larson. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago in Open Bar. Don't have an issue so much with her these days. She's kept her head down, just done a few movies and not said anything crazy stupid. So it feels like, Rachel Zegler's taking all the heat and Brie Larson's just kind of sat back with a beer and been like, all right, on you go, Rachel. I'm cheering you from the sidelines. Just chilling, and I can respect that. So, hey, if she carries on like that, she will be a drinker recommends one day. Who knows? One day I need to actually review Room as well, because apparently she is really good in that. So I want to give credit where credit's due as well. Chris Nicholson says, I noticed last time I was at a Comic-Con that everything was a tribute to 20-plus-year-old properties. I think that is the problem. Instead of new worlds to love, we get diminishing returns from the old. A little bit, but I mean, certainly in the Western hemisphere, I think if you go to something like an anime convention, like an Anime Matsuri, there's a lot more stuff going on now, in the here and now, basically. Like, there's a constantly evolving genre. But yeah, over here, it's the same deal with the actual cinema releases and stuff that we get. A lot of it is just sequels and references to older properties from back in the 80s and 90s. And it's a shame, but it's definitely symptomatic of where we're at. We're not creating enough new things to capture the imagination of the current generation. It's just referencing old stuff. And you can only do that so many times before you run out of stuff to reference. What's the next one? Someone was asking me here. There it is. So, Rodney Powell, how's your movie going, drinker? Fantastically well. So, I probably mentioned this before, but we did all the filming for it back in August. I was lucky enough to be out there for like several days of it. I got bitten to shit by mosquitoes and drunk quite a bit and stayed up till about 4 a.m. Most nights, because we had to wait so long for post-production downloading of all the footage from the day and stuff. So I was absolutely wrecked by the time I got home, but great to see it. The actors all did a fantastic job. And yeah, it looks fantastic. So that's all in the can. We're now into the really boring stage of post-production, where it's just editing, it's doing all the VFX, the sound effects, the ADR, cutting all the fight scenes and everything together. And that's not really something I can have much input on at this stage. It's in the hands of the director and the fight choreographer to do all the editing and stuff. So it's probably going to be fairly quiet for the next couple of months while they get all of that together. But we are aiming for, probably January to have everything ready and release it. We'll hopefully have trailers and stuff to release before then, but that's pretty much the timetable we're working to. It's the nature of filmmaking. Unfortunately, you get this really fun phase where you're doing principal photography, where you get to see all this cool stuff happen. And then, well, before that, there's the really boring logistical stuff of just organizing everything, booking people, actors, catering, set design, all that stuff. Then you do the fun stuff of shooting it, and then you do the more boring stuff of post-production. But hey, the bonus is that I don't have to be involved in the boring post-production stuff, so I just get to sit back and let them get on with it. So I get to see the final product. But I can tell you, I've seen rushes from it. I've seen like a sizzle reel that they cut together, like it's basically a really primitive trailer. This thing looks fucking brilliant, man. And I don't say that lightly, because I wouldn't, but it looks, I don't know how to say it. It looks like a proper movie. It looks like a big budget movie. Very atmospheric. We got like A-grade cameras that are worth like $250,000 each to film with this. And yeah, we were very lucky. There was a lot of stuff sitting around doing nothing because of the strikes, and we were just able to get it for very little. And as a result, this movie looks fantastic, and hopefully it's going to play out that way as well. So yeah, I'm very happy with how it's turning out. Yeah, and sorry, I didn't mean to blow up my own trumpet for so fucking long there, but yeah, I'm very happy with how this is turning out, and I think people are going to be surprised by how good it looks, I think. Anyway, Rosie McRose says, you and Mahler should go through David Lynch's filmography together. I can see Mahler either loving or despising all of his movies. I think it'd be more subtle than that, to be honest. Like any director, you're going to have films that you like and dislike. And yeah, I think we would have a lot of fun with David Lynch for sure. Roger Rubio says, Drinker, I'm going to go to the movies today. I have a choice in rewatching Equalizer 3, watch for the first time The Expend4bles, and Blue Beetle. What should I do? I'm leaning on Equalizer. Yeah, go for Equalizer. Don't waste your time on Expend4bles 4. It's pretty shit. And Blue Beetle is just a non-entity. It's not worth your time. So, yeah, go with Equalizer. I Too the Clothes says, I've been working through your books via Audible. Just curious if you have an opinion about the narrator and his voice acting and how it compares to the actors cast in the movie. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, a voice actor has got a hell of a tough job because they have got potentially dozens of characters with different accents, different genders and stuff that they have to do the voices for. So we were given a short list of maybe 4 or 5 voice actors, and I got to listen to them reading sample chapters and picked, I think it was Sam Devereaux, to do it ultimately. And he was the guy who impressed me the most. I think his ability to do different accents, his pace, his cadence, his tone of his voice, I thought it was all really good. And he had a good handle on how the characters should sound. As much as one man can imitate multiple characters from different countries and stuff. So, yeah, I'm fine with him. I think he did a really good job with the narration. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, the actors that we've got in the movie, they put their own stamp on it. And, you know, the actor that we have playing Ryan Drake, he's got a tough job, obviously, because Ryan Drake's supposed to be from the south of London. It's got a pretty distinctive accent. It's a bit, I suppose it's going to sound a bit like Jason Statham. And for a Canadian to put on an accent like that, it's not easy, but he did a pretty damn good job. You know, I was on set to talk to him, and, you know, he asked for any sort of vocal cues I could give him, and I didn't have much to pick him up on, really. Just a couple of times when Canadians tend to, like, abbreviate certain vowels, like they shorten them down, like out. And it's just like, you need to draw that out when it's like a British accent. And so just little things like that. But otherwise, I think he did a fantastic job. So yeah, it's tricky, but, you know, I think we got some good people on board for it. Black Sun says, Rachel Zegler is playing the victim card now. You know, I was bullied. I have mental illness, the usual stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's standard playbook, isn't it? I was going through a dark period in my life and stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, but you still sound like an asshole. So, yeah, vitals are right on there, but yeah, what can I say? You know, it's how they speak. Yeah, well, it was Eastern Canada, Albertans sound like Americans. Yeah, I mean, we were in Toronto, so that's the kind of accents we were dealing with there. Yeah, out. Oot. I mean, like, I'm not one to criticize people for accents because, you know, I'm Scottish, so like it's all I can do to speak rough English. Charles Culvert says, "Who's your favorite character in One Piece?" Tough one. I think it's a toss-up between Luffy and the chef. Fucking what's his name? Who's the guy that plays the chef? One Piece. What's his name? So Sanji, yeah, that's the one. Sanji. Yeah, both of them really cool. The actors are fantastic, and yeah, I like both of their attitudes. Like Luffy is just this happy-go-lucky adventurer, just like happy to take life as it comes. He's just got this dream of being a pirate and just like sailing the high seas and just seeing what's out there. And Sanji, you know, he's so fucking cool and suave and confident in himself. He's got a great swagger, but like, you know, he just wants to cook the best food and be the best chef in the world. But he can also fight like a total boss. And he wears a smart business suit, even in tropical climates. So I would go towards Sanji a little bit, I think, on that one. I'll do a few more. I'm going to have to finish fairly soon, unfortunately, because I'm going to be doing a sort of writers like podcast thing shortly, so I need to be ready for that. But I'll do a couple more. Patient Elijah says, "Hey, Drinker, did you finish the Cowboy Bebop anime?" No, not quite finished. I've got probably 3-4 episodes to go. Almost there. I just didn't quite get around to it, but I will finish it. I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far, though. It's just, man, a show that can do, you know, switch from like just goofy kind of comedy, very lighthearted stuff to action to really heavy drama. One Piece kind of does it as well, but like Cowboy Bebop does it so effectively. It's just amazing the Japanese ability to like switch emotional tones and make it feel natural and you know, really well intentioned and honest. It's something you just don't get over here. I don't think we don't do that sort of thing very well anymore. Casey Boyd says, "Curious to see what you think of the ambiguous ending of Cowboy Bebop. Also, can't wait for you to see the Lethal Weapon episode of It's Always Sunny." Yeah, I've got quite a lot of episodes of Always Sunny to watch, but I've liked that so far. And yeah, when I get to the ending, I'll let you know of Cowboy Bebop. Drunk 3PO, wait a minute, I know that name, says, "Hail Drinker, hope all is well." It is indeed, my friend, thank you. Phoebe Dinsmore says, "What do you foresee for the Alien and Predator movies now Disney has got hold of them? I hope Sigourney stays well away." Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have seen the Blomkamp version of Alien, you know, like an Aliens sequel. That would have been great. He had some great concept stuff, great concept art on the go. But now, yeah, just if it's Disney, it's going to be just fucking girl power bullshit as it always is with them. It's like all they can think to do. So, you know, Prey just about got away with it. It was a lot better than the trailer suggested it was going to be, but like you can definitely see those elements there. And I think they just are going to work more of that stuff in if they keep going with it. I just don't really want to see more Aliens or Predator movies. I feel like we've done as much as we can do with that, really. Barry Ryan says, "On my 10th day of drinking, it's hard, but it needed to be done." Or sorry, 10th day of not drinking. Whoops. Don't do 10 days of drinking. That's for me. But yeah, good on you, man. And yeah, stick with it. I know that's ironic coming from me, but yeah, if that's a change you needed to make in your life, then please do stick with it and stay strong, man. Chatterbox says, "Drinker, curious about your thoughts on Gennady's Primo. I know it's not new, but my God, it's a perfect example of show don't tell. Love your work, by the way." Thank you. And yeah, I can't comment on it. I'm afraid I haven't seen it. Kevin O'Neill says, speaking of The Thing, did you ever see Harbinger Down? It was where all the practical effects meant for The Thing reboot ended up after the studio decided to go for CGI after all the work was done. Yeah, that was a travesty, man, going for CGI after they did the whole thing with practical effects. But no, I haven't seen Harbinger Down, I'm afraid. So if it uses that kind of practical effects, I'm all in. Someone asked me if I've reviewed Meg 2. No, I haven't yet. I don't know if the world's ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready for that, if I'm honest with you. Casey Boyd says, listen to Az and Mahler's recommendation of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. If you're tired of the multiverse and revive tropes, the series is a breath of fresh air as it centers around the fact that you cannot revive the dead. You know, interesting you should say that, right? Because I actually tried to watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood last night and I was looking around. I couldn't find it. It wasn't on Netflix in the UK. It wasn't on Amazon that I could order. It wasn't on Sky or anything. It wasn't on like Paramount. So I'm not sure where I can get it because on Netflix, all I could get was Full Metal Alchemist, like a live action movie, which I'm guessing is not what I'm looking for. So I don't know if anyone's got a suggestion where I can get it when I'm in the UK. Remember, I'm not in America. I'm going to wait to see what chat says. What have you guys got for me? Yeah, I know Pirate Bay can help me out there, but I was going to try and find it so that I could watch it in somewhat good quality. Crunchyroll. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't know how available Crunchyroll is in the UK, but I can try that. Okay. That seems to be what people recommend. Yeah, people going, "Arr! Sail the high seas, matey." Okay, right. One way or another, I'll find it. If I have to, I'll talk to Az and Mahler and see how they got it. But yeah, I do want to watch it because I ended up watching the Evil Dead Rise last night, which was okay. I'd started watching it on the flight over from the States and I never got around to finishing it. But yeah, finally watched all of it last night. And it was fine. I guess I just wasn't sure what I was supposed to take from it. I don't know what it added to the Evil Dead like franchise. It was just a lot of people getting killed, which was fun. It was nice and gory. And you know, it lacked the comedy tone, I think, of the other Evil Dead movies. You know, you didn't have Bruce Campbell with all the pratfalls and everything and like chainsawing off his own hands. It was a bit more serious than that. But for what it was, I thought it was okay. Okay. Yeah, it did add some girl power, which is fine. You know, it doesn't always like have to have a male protagonist. But yeah, for what it was, I suppose it was fine. Just yeah, there was no real character arcs or anything. It was just you know, try and survive, I suppose. Roaming Trends says, I made a new open bar intro video for you. Enjoy. Okay, you might have to send it to me so I can see it though. Black Sun says, you ever notice how you have the same commentators on your videos getting the highest likes? Xenia Chow is number one. Are they just getting lucky or are they famous? I don't know. Like what? Is this like responses to my videos? So just like in the comments section or what? I need to have a look and see who's number one. But yeah, Xenia Chow. The name's not familiar. Shape Snatch says, greetings, drinker. Just finished Ryan Drake, Book 5, aka Deception Game. I have to say, might be the best one-sentence plot twist I've ever read. What is it? I don't know now. This is a book that I wrote like 7 years ago. I know. Yeah, I know what happens at the end. I'm just thinking, what's the sentence that turns everything around? Oh shit! I'm gonna have to like read back over my own book then. Liam Hemmings says, drinker, if your viewers get depressed with modern movies, might I suggest they watch the odd horror movie with Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee? Yes, always do that. The Hammer horror movies are great, and yeah, man, I'm going to spend as much time as I can over October just reviewing old horror movies. It's great fun. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Drinker, I made the Meg 2 comment. It's a fine motion picture. You must view it. I don't know if fine motion picture is quite how I describe it, but yeah, it's got stuff that happens in it. Yeah, it's got Statham just fighting a giant shark. Sure, okay. Yeah, if you like the first one, I'm sure you'll like the second. Troy Manser says, "Keep the streams coming." Thank you, man. I will do my best to keep them going. And I'll do a couple more, and then I'll need to sign off. Liam, oh no, sorry. The DCB Titan says, "And when when she had triangle boobs." Yeah, that was Lara Croft. Yeah, I had to take what came back then. You know, like there wasn't a whole lot to work with in terms of graphics. So, yeah, it was fun times back in the day. I don't think people appreciate now just how much technology advanced just in that short time span. Like from the mid 90s to like early 2000s, we went from like Sonic and Mario, like 2D platformers being the height of technology, up to like Grand Theft Auto 3 and stuff, like and Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater, like games like that, which gave you proper fully fleshed out characters, full motion video, just like, you know, in the space of like maybe 4 or 5 years. That was pretty damn impressive. So yeah, it was a hell of a time to be around. I'm glad I got to see it because I'm that old. But yeah, I'm going to have to go, unfortunately, because I need to go on to another stream. I think it's going to be a recording session for like a podcast about writing books and stuff. But thank you, everyone that's joined me for this. It's been awesome hanging with you guys. And yeah, for any super chats that I've missed, I will, of course, catch up with them because I always do. But yeah, thank you tonight. And thank you to my mods for keeping everything running in chat. Next time you see me will probably be on Mr. Brown Alliance's channel, and that's going to be tomorrow night talking about Ahsoka. And after that, it's going to be open bar, dude. Anyway, thanks, guys, and that's all I've got for today. So go away now.